Welcome back. It's Dr. Jen Verboni, better known as DocJenFit, your personal doctor of physical therapy. And today we're going to talk about mom wrist. So especially when you're carrying a little baby, a lot of the times we end up kind of wrapping our fingers and wrists all the way around to really provide that full support. Well, if we're doing that all day long repetitively, that creates a lot of strain and tension right onto those wrist flexors. So I want to go through some exercises that we can do to help calm down that pain that you might be getting from that wrist. Now, as a new mom myself, I'm just learning all of these pains and issues that people are normally dealing with. And if you are a mom or a caregiver or a parent, please let me know your issues that you're experiencing within your body below, because just because you're caring for someone else doesn't mean that you have to put your body in the most pain all throughout the day. We should be feeling good as well so that we provide the best support for our little human growing. So please let me know, what issues are you dealing with, whether it's related to carrying a baby or not. I need to hear from you so I know how to best support you. All right, so we're going to go through 5 quick exercises that you can do. Now, I'm going to have some little weights here. I'm also going to use my resistance bands. Now, these are from our Optimal Body Therapy Kit. You can actually grab that down. We'll link that below or link that up here somewhere. This kit has a lot of different resistance of TheraBands that you have that are really great for any part of the body. And we actually include a free back plan. If you want to just grab a kit, you get a free back plan of how to use a lot of these tools that we have within the kit that are really supportive for the body. Okay, so the first one is, since we are bent in this position all day long, we want to extend and relax those muscles. Okay, so we're going to come into a wrist extension stretch. So that's where the fingers are going to go towards you and the arms are straight, not completely locked out, but just straight. Okay. And then you're just going to come back to what you feel you can tolerate. You do not have to sit all the way back. Okay. It's just what you can tolerate. If that is too much, you can stand at a counter or a table, a desk, and you could put your hand at one at a time and just lean back. Or if you're short on time, just place both arms there and lean back and relax. Okay. What we are doing is we're holding for about a minute of holding, just breathing and relaxing into that stretch. Okay. Now, this is really important. If we want to start to work the muscles, we have to also relax the muscles. Okay. That's going to create less tension on them as well. So holding that for about a minute. Then we're going to flip that over and just go into what I call wrist lowers. So now we're going to challenge these flexor muscles so that we build up the strength, but we're going to do it in their full extended range of motion too. So we really build this, what's called eccentric strength. So we have better control within that wrist. So we're going to flip those fingers forward. Okay. And just give it a slight lean until you can put some pressure into your fingertips. Now, really important here, if you are hypermobile, if you can do that hitchhiker thumb that goes all the way back, or that arm that kind of extends when you hyperextends when you straighten it, you want to be really careful with this exercise that you're not going to put extra pressure into those joints. You want to keep those fingers tense and in control the entire time. So we lean forward. We're going to put some pressure into those fingers. Use your body to help, coming up, and then slowly, this is the most important part, coming down nice and slow. We're putting tension into those fingers the entire time until you can come into as much wrist extension that feels okay for your wrist, and then pressing right back up nice and slow on the way down. So these first 2 exercises are one of the most important, I would say. So if you only get to these 2 exercises, 1 minute holds, and about 5 to 10 of these every day, you're going to start to feel a lot different in your wrist and a lot more stability and strength. Now, these are sneaky because we're going and we're lowering nice and slow. You can start to actually feel sore the next day because we're putting so much tension and stress onto an area that you probably don't work a lot. So be careful. Maybe just start with 5 of those. Okay. Then we're going to go into wrist flexion. And I like to do this in the range and in the type of way that we're actually going to be flexing and using those wrists a lot, which if you're carrying a baby is usually right in front of you, right? So you can either use a long band. So this is one of our long TheraBands that we have or resistance bands that we have within the kit. And then we also have this little loop, this resistance loop. Okay. Now, what I like about the loop is that you kind of get a double whammy, which I love. So you can grab here and extend. So now I'm going to be working my back at the same time. And here I'm going to be mimicking as if I'm holding the baby. Okay, so I'm going to hold this nice and tight, and I'm going to try to let my fingers come all the way down, my wrist come down without letting that their loop kind of fall, without letting that resistance loop fall. And then I'm going to curl my fingers in and then flex up into that wrist without trying to do a bicep curl here. So just trying to focus in on that wrist as much as possible. You're not going to have as much range because we're in this kind of shortened position already, but you're just going to move within the range that you have available. The most important thing here is the let down. So going really slow on that lowering part and then up, flex as much as you can, and then nice and slow. And you just need to do about 5 to 10 on each side, okay? If that doesn't feel good for you, you can always create more stability and base by placing your forearm on something and then coming into that wrist flexion exercise, okay? So you have a couple options here of what you can do to create that exercise. So again, the lowering portion of that is going to be what's really crucial, really important. Then I'm going to use one of the weights, and I will stabilize in my forearm now. And we're just going to work on, so you're going to grab around the end of the weight, and I'm using a 3-pounder. So you do not need to go heavy at all for this. It's more that we're leveraging the weight that's coming all the way up. We're going to go really slow on the way down. So this is called pronation of that entire forearm all the way up to our elbow. And then we're going to rotate nice and slow all the way into what's called supination, letting that palm come all the way back as much as what feels tolerable for you, and then coming back. And again, it's slow, it's controlled. So that's how we build up the strength around our wrist so that we can tolerate more positions. And we're getting into that gripping strength just by holding onto that weight there. So nice and slow here. We're going just 5 in each direction and doing it on each side. Okay. Now, last little movement here, you're going to grab a rubber band. Now, this is just a rubber band that we've kind of collected from the grocery store. So if you grab something when you're shopping and you notice it has a rubber band, keep that. And you're just going to put that around the end of your fingers, and you're going to open. So this is actually from, it actually says it on there, organic asparagus. So if you get some vegetables, keep that little rubber band, and then you can open as much as you can. And then again, slow on the way in. So it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about going as controlled into that extension and then nice and slow. And we're just helping to support that wrist by building up the strength and control all on the muscles all around that wrist, so that we do about 10 of those on each side. You do not have to do all of these every day. If you even get to a couple of them, maybe you get to the wrist, just the wrist stretch and then the rubber band for a day, that's fine. As long as we're kind of throwing these in throughout the week, as you can think about them, you're going to really help to support that wrist. And as you're carrying a baby, try not to think of hugging it as close and tight as possible all the way down to those fingers. Remind yourself that you have full support within your forearms, within your arms, so you can let those wrists relax or try to change position. See what you can do that's a little different so it takes some pressure off those wrists. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have other suggestions of body parts or things around your body that you need help with, please comment below. I want to hear from you so I know how to best support you. Don't forget, if you love what you're learning, I have so much more in stock for you. So hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos I've done in the past, and leave any comments of any suggestions that you have for videos in the future. And I can't wait to help you feel incredible and amazing within your body.